Baiba, Braže, Latvian Foreign Minister, and it's good to be back at the EU Foreign Affairs Council with a very intensive agenda in front of us. As usual, we have the agenda item on Russia's aggression against Ukraine with a briefing from the Foreign Minister Andriy Sybiha. We'll also have substantive exchange on the developments in the Middle East. And we have, of course, the discussion and the breakfast with the Armenian foreign minister, but also we'll have certain other aspects with regard to situation in Sudan and a few other things that I know colleagues want to bring. I'm particularly pleased to see that what I wished last time, which was more operational shadow fleet sanctioning, is happening. So we have 41 ships on the agenda. Is not part of a bigger package, but we are just, as they come, as we find out and agree, we are putting them on the sanctions list. Also ecosystem, individuals, hybrid sanctions, and so on and so forth. So also some important decisions. And then I just completed a 10-day trip. I was in the US, Cyprus, and Middle East, and indeed all the attention is on achieving peace in Ukraine. And from our perspective, from the Latvian perspective, I want to be very clear, we will not recognize occupied territories as Russian. Whatever the ceasefire achieves, whatever is there will be no recognition of occupation as legal. So we will stick to our international positions that we have maintained, and that is something that we have been very clear about. And we very much commend the US efforts, really gigantic, substantial talks, very detailed talks from what we know, and our support for Ukraine, for Ukraine's independence, sovereignty, democracy for the future is absolute and total. So we will continue supporting Ukraine both on the battlefield as long as it lasts, but also at the peace talks, whatever is necessary. And one thing that is not changed, we don't see any change in Russia's position. All the signals from Russia currently still, they are not serious about peace. They are just looking at picking and dividing NATO, picking, dividing the EU. So with that, we wish luck to Ukraine, to the US, and we wish for peace in Ukraine.
If Ukraine does give up on NATO membership,
it's for Ukraine to decide. I mean, NATO's treaty is very clear. Article 10 provides for the possibility to enlarge NATO with regard to European countries. So if you are a European country, you want to join NATO, you have to contribute to Euro-Atlantic security, and there has to be a consensus. So 3 very simple, straightforward points that the Article 10 provides. And every European country can join NATO. That is the ultimate. If Austria or Switzerland suddenly decides to change their views, they will have to comply also with the same conditions with regard to contributing to Euro-Atlantic security. There will have to be a consensus and so on and so forth, interoperability. So at the outset, NATO's treaty remains valid. But it will be for Ukraine to decide whether they continue applying or not, or whether they delay it. And it will be for NATO's allies to decide when is the opportune moment to accept new members.
The question is if they decide not to.
I cannot answer with if. Questions with if don't work.
EU countries provide similar security guarantees to Ukraine.
I think the issue within the coalition of willing depends on the modalities, again, what exactly is happening on the ground. The paramount security guarantee is strong Ukrainian-owned armed force. That's why all the discussions around trying to cap Ukrainian armed forces at certain numbers or not, it's the strongest army in Europe. It's the biggest country in Europe. And Ukraine as a self-deterrent is the most important. Everything else will be a backup. So those are the 2 elements that is necessary to understand. But of course, we welcome very much the US readiness to engage on security guarantees, and then the modalities. I think it's better to be discussed among the military and to have it, in a very practical way.
Do you think it is realistic for Ukraine to really join the EU as early as 2027?
The EU enlargement process also in the treaty is pretty straightforward. We have to open the negotiations first. There is one country blocking the opening of the negotiations. So we really expect that country will lift its blockade, because the Commission and all the evaluations are there that Ukraine is ready for a start of negotiations. And then, of course, proceeding in accordance with the practical steps, just like we all have done. That joining is hard work. And we know Ukraine has done a lot of work. I was just in Ukraine 2 weeks ago. They have done huge amount of work, and they are reforming institutions, and they are reforming the absorption capacity, the ability to apply the acquis. Of course, there is war. So that limits their ability to de facto implement everything that is needed. There are priorities at the times.
Are you in favor of it?
Again, questions with if are difficult to answer, but and also, some leaks that have happened. But again, we will do what is possible for Ukraine.
Another question is high level today in Berlin. What are your thoughts on this and what wish do you wish? I mean, you just said you wish luck to Ukraine and to the US delegation, but I mean, is there any more that you want to say?
As I said, for now, from the either actions of Russia or what they say, we don't see the change in their position. They are not serious about peace. They are the ones that stand between all of us who want peace in Ukraine and the actual peace on the ground. It's Russia that is the object, that is the obstacle to that. So that is what I want to say, is that until Russia changes its position, it's very difficult to imagine a sort of groundbreaking development. So it will be very much about the continuous pressure on Russia, and here it's about frozen assets. The immobilization is a good decision, we support it, but also the reparation loan, the further support, the weapons, the practical aspects of support, humanitarian, political, and all the others.
You just brought up this time that the reparations loan was not on the agenda today.
The Foreign Affairs Council is not the one deciding on it.
Just before since the visitor be stopped the weekend, welcome. Should the EU accelerate towards normalization with the regime, or do you see
The regime hasn't changed, but again, also on this occasion, we very much welcome the ability to welcome back those that have been unjustly politically imprisoned. And that concerns both, there was a Latvian citizen, but also the Belarusian oppositioners, but also we very much welcome the return of Ukrainian citizens that we saw happening. Thank you.